All right, I guess we're doing this. Welcome to Still Against All Odds. Alongside producer Mikey Meatball, I'm joined by the degenerate trifecta, Harry, Parlay Kid, and Brother Bry. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, Joe?
Hey, Joel.
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, happy Martin Luther King Day to everyone. The conference championships are set. A weekend bookend by overtime games. You got Patriots versus Broncos, Rams versus Seahawks. I don't know who saw that coming at the beginning of the season. Probably Harry, if you ask him. But wow, what a weekend. As for these guys on their postseason picks, Bry and Parlay Kid now tied at the top of the leaderboard, 11 out of 20, if we're doing this math correct. Harry not far behind with 8. Parlay Kid, a scorching 6-0 to end the weekend. Even nailed
Yeah.
Yeah.
even nailed Purdy most passing yards. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Listen, sometimes it's you can get a little lucky. Caleb Williams over 1.5 touchdown passes. Let's face it, like that could have ended the opposite way for me. Bears covering could have ended the opposite way for me. So you have to get lucky sometimes, and I guess I've gotten a little lucky in this weekend run.
No, Ben Fox was on last week. He gave out
Oh,
some great picks. Bry, I feel like probably kid's not giving himself enough credit. You
mm.
guys, you guys crushed. Did
Well,
well.
Darren crushed. I mean, I was a little off. I thought Ben, if we looked back at Ben's stuff, I think everything he was saying pretty much, I felt like everything he
Yeah.
said pretty much came true.
Yeah, it sure
At least
did.
on the,
Hey,
at least on the game sides.
one of the Gagnon brothers, not pleased. We're gonna get to find out
Poor
how
guy.
Scott feels. Man, Harry may have jinxed. We're not sure exactly what happened. But let's start with the AFC. And if we learned anything this past year, you want to believe in Bills. The truth is you can't trust Bills. And once again, the Bills showed us no matter how much they change and you think it's time and it will be different. Nope. More things stay the same because the Bills will only let you down. But now let's talk about actually what happened in Denver on Saturday. Broncos win 33-30 in overtime. Jim Nance did his best to curse Matt Prater at the end of regulation. He really did, but he nailed it. Bills fans were relieved for a moment. So let's just get to overtime, Parlay Kid. Let's because that's really there was a lot of we can talk about Josh Allen turnovers in the game, but it all starts fresh in overtime. Broncos get the ball first. Bills stop up, get the ball. And then there were some questionable calls with the refs. So let's first talk about this catch that got ruled an
Wow.
interception that people are still talking about because I've never seen such a divisive a call where people are so split down the middle.
Yeah.
I have avoided talking to you guys about it. I know how I feel about it. How it was ruled on the field. It seems to me that that's how it was. You tell me different, Derek, if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, listen, I when it after watching it all day yesterday, I think the first response is Joe. I think it was overwhelmingly really one sided that it was a catch. I think the more video evidence that started coming out, you could certainly question whether it was or it wasn't not. But look, to me, I personally thought Cooks had possession, his knee is down, plays over. That should be it. Almost similar to what we saw in this Bears game today. Almost
Mhm.
quite some. I just think that's a catch. Yes. Does Cooks need to be stronger on that ball? Absolutely. Um, but I thought that should have been a catch. But things don't seem to go the Bills' way. I mean, then you could talk about some of the pass interference calls. And I'm starting to really despise those calls too at some points because to me, that's where the inconsistencies really lied in this game. Were more with the late interference or not interference calls late, where I think the Bills could have gotten one or two. They didn't. And then Denver did to win the game. I hated seeing them win the game like that on some of those calls because I don't think they were any different from what was being called non-pass interference for the Bills. And I had no really, with the exception of having some money on the Bills to win the game, really no main rooting.
Well,
Even though I like to see Allen have won, but yes, getting back to the other thing, Joe, I would say catch, but you could talk me out of it. Somebody could definitely talk me out of
Well,
that being a
well,
catch.
bro, here's the thing with these Twitter warriors. If you look at a still frame, Bry, yeah, that looks like a catch. But we don't look at still frames. You
Right.
look at video, and if if you're watching it live and McMillan rips the ball away from him, and we don't know if necessarily Cooks had full control of that ball, then I don't care about a still frame because
Yeah.
he came away from the ball. It was ruled an interception on the field, and how are you going to overturn that? So I think it was the right call.
Yeah, look, I didn't have as much of a problem at first as everybody else did, but like, the more certain things come out, like what I didn't like is you have Startor, was Startor the one that was doing it? Gene Startor when he
I think
when
so.
he when he came, I think he came on, right?
Yeah,
So what I don't like is, then they'll say in that moment, like you're saying, Joel, they'll say, well, if you really freeze it or really slow it down, and it really looks like a catch. But in fast motion, you have to maintain possession through the ground, whatever. So if you're doing it in full speed, it's really not a catch. Like they'll say that. And then the pass interference on the Bills, right? Which, then Sturridge was like, oh yeah, that's definitely pass interference. But then if you're watching that in fast motion,
Correct.
it's probably really not like pass
Thank you.
interference. But if you freeze it or slow it down, then it's
Yeah.
definitely pass interference. So it's like there's an inconsistency there with how they're
sure.
Well,
kind of
But
officiating
here,
or stating certain things, which I
but
don't,
if
which I
you look
didn't
at
love.
that's true. But if you look at the whole play, that first pass interference, say it wasn't. Well, Joey Bosa roughed the passer, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah, that too,
declined.
yeah.
That second one absolutely was pass interference.
Mm.
And in a weird way, and Parlay Kid and I were texting about this. Kudos to Sean Payton. He saw Buffalo was on the ropes. They were frustrated, and he's like, you know what? I'll go for a flag. And it
Well, yeah,
actually,
and he attacked the defense, a
yeah,
defensive back that had just come in. But Joel, so I have to say this, but here was my biggest problem with that play, with the interception. They didn't give it enough time. They literally just glanced over it with all the crap that they spend looking at.
Yeah.
McDermott had to burn a timeout just to see if somebody would like throw him a bone and look at that play a little bit more. They didn't do it. That's BS that they didn't look at that more closely. And by the way, if we wanted to play ticky-tack, I could tell you that there's a ball that Mims caught for a touchdown that might not have been a catch, that again was not properly looked at. So I don't know what was going on in that game.
you're
I don't
okay.
know.
There were absolutely. I hate that it comes down to questionable calls, but we talked about it before, Harry. Josh Allen, horrible turnover at the end of the first half, and
Oh,
to you all you guys, I want to let Harry chime in, but in overtime. They didn't need a touchdown. They needed a field goal. And you know what? Josh Allen took a shot downfield. We saw it actually with the Bears too, taking a
Same thing
huge
today,
shot.
right?
Yeah, same thing with the
Yeah.
Bears. So some
yep.
questionable calls. And now everyone, McDermott is so pissed, and the game. I feel bad for Buffalo. It got taken away from us. No, your turnovers and maybe your bad play calling when you just needed a field goal that lost it for you. What do you think, Harry?
I think the post game interview by McDermott, he was doing it, saying I'm looking out for Buffalo. He's looking out for himself. He's trying to get some
Exactly.
pockets here for himself so he doesn't lose the job. That's number one. But I think what you were saying, Joe, about before like the past couple of years, last 2 years, before like go back 3 years ago, we always like questioned Josh Allen making some stupid, silly plays, trying to do too much, doing crazy stuff and causing turnovers. Hadn't really done that in 2 years in a
Mm.
row. And then this right before half was so unnecessary.
Ah,
Getting nothing out of it anyways. Go down. What are you doing to give them a free gift like that after they just scored two? Was insane. You mentioned Mims though, probably the most underrated guy this weekend, where he had 8 catches for 93 yards. Darren said he had a touchdown, big play there. But I will say this about that about the catch, not catch, interception, not interception. About a month ago, when the Bill, like, I don't know what's what. I really don't. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows what it is now? But a month and a half ago or so, when the Bills played, of all teams, it was the Bills, ironically, playing the Patriots. Same thing happened, passed by Allen, and it was the same exact play, same exact situation happened, and they ruled that a catch, not an interception. So
Mm.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dez caught it. Dez's was a catch.
Well, now,
Dez's was
yeah,
a
well,
catch
for
a
sure.
100 times more than that was a catch too.
Oof.
And I'll say that.
I
Well,
might say, I'll say you're probably right on that, D. I finally going to give in on that, I think.
it is like I don't want to always go down this road of conspiracy stuff, but that is the bigger thing, that there's tremendous inconsistencies across the board. Before we get to the Broncos, who actually did win and are an AFC championship now with a backup quarterback, I think let's finish off with these Bills.
Yeah.
I don't know, Bri. I think you have to move on from Sean McDermott. I really do. That is a lot. Big loss on him, and some really questionable play calling, and I, how many years are you going to watch this? That they
Yeah,
have
look,
had a chance to win.
yeah, look, they have to, I agree with you, Joel. The problem is, it's funny, as we have a lot of fans who are a lot of friends who are Giant fans, and I was saying, like, Harbaugh was taking a while to sign that contract, and I was like,
Mm.
I think he signed it yesterday, right? I guess he signed it on Saturday. But I was like, my God, as soon as that game was over, if he still didn't sign a contract, I would have been like reaching out to his agent right away to be like, hey, before you sign this Giants, like, let's think about this. Because I do think, Joel, one of us, I don't know if it was on this text exchange, but one of us like sent this around. But like, as these coaches, like, once they get past a certain point, once they're like past their fifth
Yeah.
year as a coach, it's almost impossible for them to win a championship. Like, it never happens.
No,
Like, if they
of
don't win
course,
it in one of
we
those
talked
first
about.
few years, like,
Yeah, we talked about it.
so,
Yeah,
again, McDermott's a solid coach, but now you need to bring somebody else on, and it's got to be, a proven guy too, to try and get Josh Allen a championship, right?
no,
Like,
yeah,
again, Allen, some of those mistakes cost him the game, but also he still put that team in a chance, like, late in the game for the win, right? He still had the two big drives to get them the lead back. So, for as much as you could blame him, and if Cooks holds on to that ball, it's a
no.
More
totally different
turnovers
That
than
would have
story.
been
run, Brian.
No,
so.
look, it's
Yeah,
look, and some of those, again, some of those are bad.
Yep.
no, that would have
But
been fascinating because you're right. We found out that the Giants did reach out to Mike Tomlin. So could you imagine if there were some shenanigans in the 11th hour? Harbaugh didn't
Yeah.
sign, and
I was
now
hoping that would happen. I was
yeah.
hoping it would
Maybe
happen.
Lane Kiffin coaches the Bills next year. We don't know.
Maybe.
Mm.
But Brian, I do appreciate that. You are right. Exactly. Sean Payton in year 3 with Bo Nix in year 2.
Sure.
Matt Vrabel, year 1 with Drake May in year 2, and now you've got Mike McDonald year 2 with Sam Darnold in his first year with Seattle,
Yep.
and then like I said, Sean McVay and the Rams don't count because they've already going repeat. Uh, yeah, let's just end this game with the Broncos because now, unbelievably, Jared Stidham is a game away from playing in the Super Bowl. The Broncos signed Ben DiNucci to their practice squad, which Parlay Kid is not happy with me because I said he might get to a Super Bowl before Dak. But this is kind of crazy. Like if you're the Broncos, I guess you rally behind him, but. I mean, Bry, how much does the game plan change now?
Oh, well, I mean, now it's got to be a very, I mean, it was always going to be probably a little conservative, but now it's you just hope, your defense, you have to hope that the defense probably plays a little bit better in terms of giving up less yards, right? I mean, if they can get a few takeaways, but now obviously you like have to really simplify the offense. You hope maybe Stidham uses his legs a little bit in this game, just doesn't turn the ball over. You're going to have, in order for you to win this game, it's got to be, 17-40. Like they're going to have to they automatically have to hold the Pats under 20 points, right? To have a shot. And like, even more realistically, to win this game, it's probably got to be under 17 points, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, unless your defense is scoring or unless they're running the ball really well, I don't know. But I mean,
No,
Stidham's
now
not, you know, I, he's serviceable. He's serviceable,
Yeah.
but
Oh, but Fry,
this is a big situation,
Fry,
like a bet.
I think you're right. The defense has to show up. And last quarter of the season, they've been vulnerable. I mean,
Yeah, they
Jackson
haven't been
lit
as
them up.
good.
Bill scored 30 here, up and down, even though they forced turnovers. Still, they're gonna have to rely on Harvey a ton to
Yeah.
get first downs, get 4 or 5 yards of carry, get first downs, keeps drives alive for Stidham because can't rely on him to throw the ball really against that defense.
Now I actually think home field matters a ton. I think,
Yeah.
Sean Payton being there before and knowing, how to truly
Well,
manage this game matters. And I don't know, Parlay Kid, what's strange is I know you actually, we joke about you liking the Patriots, at least
let's
respecting them.
go.
But
Let's
but
go.
what's interesting now is anyone who hates the Patriots, normally you would not even want them near the Super Bowl. And now, because no one wants to see a Jared
I know.
Stidham-led
There you
Broncos,
go. Now,
now very odd rooting
good,
interest. It really
good
is.
point, Joel. Good point, Joel. I mean, let's look. I could always say I've been on the Pats. Um, I've, I've told you, great deal respect. By the way, who replaced Stidham at Auburn?
Oh,
Yeah.
next.
Bo Nix, I
Oh,
think.
Nix. Now we
Yeah,
got a
interesting.
reversal right there.
Wow.
So that's pretty interesting. Another interesting stat, courtesy of Mikey Meatballs. Allen, May, Williams, and Stroud combined for 11 interceptions and 7 fumbles this weekend.
Crazy.
That's nuts. Like
Uh,
those, and yeah, we'll get to some of these other guys in a second. Boy, jeez.
well,
By the way, guys, in college, sometimes I did on the local radio channel on campus. I did give the weather report sometimes, just letting you know. Denver on Sunday, sunny, high of 41.
let's quickly talk about these
We should have
Patriots.
Harry give the weather at one time, right? The whiteboard a little bit behind
Yes,
him.
it's
Something.
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be good.
The cold front coming in, baby.
I like it, yeah, but we'd have to
In a
do it with
Romo's
the
voice.
green screen because I would like to see him actually try to navigate a
Yeah,
green
that's true.
screen.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
Mm.
Yeah. Patriots win 28-16. What a just gross game. Uh, Patriots, possibly the easiest path to Super Bowl in NFL history. They had the seventh easiest schedule of the Super Bowl era. In a wild card game, let's see, Chargers with basically a backup offensive line. In the divisional round, they had the Texans with Nico Collins and without Nico Collins and CJ Stroud. I think they found out he needed glasses after the game. We can't confirm that. And now they get a conference championship with Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't thrown a pass in 2 seasons. So the big question out of this was Bry, should D'Amico Ryan gone to Davis Mills? Because it certainly seemed I've never seen I'm not like a big body language guy, but CJ Stroud looked like a guy who was in a deer in headlights the past 2 weeks and was afraid of getting hit.
Well,
And yeah,
100%, Joel. I mean, that was the thing, right? Like, they went on this big winning streak, right? They'd won how many games in a row? 10 or whatever.
some with
And
Mills, I think.
right, but
Yeah.
it's funny because I didn't really notice it last week that he just did not want to get hit. And then
Hmm.
today, though, especially, like he is letting go of the ball. You could just see it's like, oh, and the guys are like 3 or 4 yards away from him, right? And he doesn't want to take. It's like, and it's also just screwing him up on his throws, right? There was a lot of throws that were off or just low, right into the ground. I mean, granted, I mean the weather doesn't necessarily help, but yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like Darren said, with those 3 guys, like the stats between May, Stroud, and Allen, how many turnovers, but like Stroud
Mm.
just looked like
Uh,
he did not belong. Like, and the funny thing was, like, to start the game, right? I mean, that part, right? To start the game, hit Kirk's right in the chest, he drops it, right? And then the Pats score right after that. Then he had a really nice play after that, leading them to, I guess, the field goal. So, like,
Right. No, and
he
you're right.
wasn't bad. Those first couple
But
of
Bry, you're
drives, he
right.
wasn't bad.
But that touchdown got taken off the board too, I
Right.
think was a key play in a weird way. So
Right. No, too. They got like that was weird because there was barely any. They called the legal
shift.
motion,
Yeah,
yeah,
motion.
legal
yeah,
Right.
shift, but that was really
yeah.
weird because they seemed like they were set. The fullback moved a little bit early
Very
on,
little
but
bit. Yeah.
so that was a ticky tack call. But then also in that game, right? I know I'm going past Stroud. It's like you had 2 plays too where it was like Hunter and Anderson on the sacks were like right on top of the ball and they just couldn't get it right too. So it totally could have been a little bit of a different game. And look, it's maybe a different if Davis Mills is in there and just doesn't turn the ball over, that game is coming down to the end of that game. Like if they
I
just don't
completely
turn
agree.
over, it's coming down to the end.
Yeah, it was turnovers, and you're right. The Texans were very much in this game. So Harry, I don't know. Did the Patriots do enough to impress you? Obviously, let's not talk about they're playing a backup next week, but just in general, did the Pats and May do enough? To,
In
to prove to you they belong still.
in this week, last week on offense, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I know May still had he had 3 touchdowns today, but he had a couple fumbles and he had a pick. But I'm going to say on the defensive ball, yeah, they are, especially now with Stidham having to play instead of Nix. I think New England's defense, they were suffocating today. I mean, Stroud had what 5 turnovers, 4 picks, and a fumble.
Mm,
Could have had more. A couple of those balls were tipped and in the air, and it could have been worse for Stroud if
yeah.
that's even possible. But it could have been. I think New England's defense, their pass rush has been fantastic 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, that scares me a bit. I mean, I know Darren's been on New England. I've been on. I said Denver was going to be in the Super Bowl, but
What?
I did say Denver.
You changed that. You changed that.
No, I didn't.
You changed. No, you said you. No, we have
I
to go
said
back.
Denver versus Philadelphia was my Super Bowl.
No.
I did.
No.
I didn't. I wasn't.
Oh,
I
look,
said. I didn't.
You
I
said
said.
the Bills last week. You basically,
No, I
in
said.
essence,
No,
you
I
said the
said
Bills.
Denver. I said I
No.
gave out the over, which came out flying. The
Hmm.
over came in with ease, but I am
Yeah.
worried about the New England pass rush because they're ferocious right now.
We have
They're
to pull up that. We have to pull up that tape, Bry. We
all
have
right,
to. We gotta go back. We
I'll
got to
pull the
go back
tape.
and look
Let's
at
pull up the tape
when
of
when
Romo
I
saying Mahomes
when I
instead of
questioned
Allen.
Harry on who was picking. He was
And
like, "I know I have Denver, but
You asked me who would I pick in the game, and I said I'm kind of scared of Buffalo, but I still got to stay with Denver, even though I just
we'll
have
go
to.
back. I'll go back on this."
I have it. I'll tell you in a second. So while I look it up just to make sure. So Parlay Kid, we as the originator of the famous Guess the Line segment,
Yeah,
what do you think about this line? What jumps out to you? Because I don't know. It moved a lot, but it's plus 5.5 for the Broncos. I mean,
yeah,
does
ticking
that
up.
even make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. This is what if you would have told me to guess it before I, obviously had looked at it, I think I would have said 4.5.
That's
Which
what I think
it
what it
kind of
was at
started at.
first.
So I think
Yeah.
I would have said 4.5. This is a little surprising. I wonder if we see it even a little higher, or now if it starts to come down. I like the line. I think this is a fair line right here. And you know why I say that? Because my pal over at the Let It Ride podcast does a really good podcast for a lot of gambling stuff. Uh, he tweeted this. I thought this was a good tweet. Whereas the Broncos defense, Joel, they've played Cam Ward in his first start of his career. Jake Browning, Justin Fields, Davis Mills, Marcus Mariota, Geno Smith twice, Chris Oladukin, and Trey Lance. Okay, so we talked about the favorable schedule for New England, but when outside of those eight or nine games, when they've played legit quarterbacks, Denver's defense has given up 25.3 points per game. So we're going to see if this defense is as good as maybe it looks like when you're watching them kind of dominate some of these bad quarterbacks. But maybe they're just not that good. I think the Patriots offense. I think we're going to see a really good Patriots light them up. I think they're going to score
Yeah.
28 points this week. So I think that line is fair. I think that's
I
a fair
know.
line.
But you know what? It has been in an insane season where it's been so unpredictable. It would be crazy if you have a backup quarterback starting the Super Bowl, and it is
Crazier
possible.
things have
Yeah,
happened. Look, we saw it.
Hostetler.
Just
Yeah.
Hostetler. We saw it with the Steelers. Who did they make a run with? Didn't
Well,
maybe it
Neil
was
O'Donnell just felt like a backup, but he
you
was.
know what he did feel like? David Woodley on the Dolphins for Dan Marino made it to the Super Bowl. correct? Back in 80, what was it 84? I'm never good with the years.
I don't
They
think
start
they
to
made the
blend in
Super
together.
Bowl. No, Darren. I don't think they made the Super Bowl.
Also,
No,
I'll,
no,
I don't think so.
maybe you're right.
yeah,
That
I
was
am
Woodley
checking.
in for the or I don't think they made the Super Bowl, but
Harry did have Denver, Philadelphia in our original Super Bowl picks. I will say he did have Denver, Philadelphia, and he also told me that Tom Brady's Pizza Hut
Yeah.
commercial is awesome, and so I don't know if we can trust
pretty
him.
funny. Pretty
I
funny.
was
Yeah,
right though. I was
yeah.
right. Woodley started against the Washington Redskins in 1983 in
Oh,
the
he did?
Super Bowl.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, so you have you we've had these stories
Well,
before. Hostetler was like a legit backup at
yeah.
that time. And look, what's going to come down to is just the coaching staff will just modify the game plan, I'm sure, and play to Stidham's strengths. So
Yeah.
whatever those would be is what they're going to do. One time he was a highly touted
Yeah.
QB, so he's got the arm. We'll see what happens.
Crazy.
I mean,
Belichick drafted him. He wanted him. He drafted him in the fourth round. I think that
it's a good
now the
point. It's
Patriots
part of this Patriots organization. Yeah,
now the Patriots not losing on the road this year still very impressive. But still, you got a second year quarterback going to Denver, and I think it's a little high. This line a little high. It's not like Stidham has never played before. He's
Mm.
had some action. I
you're
think
right.
little high, but I do think also you're right though, guys. Denver's defense has to turn it up against a good team, and they haven't been able to do it lately. They got to use what's best for them with their strengths and what there is. Maybe blitzing. They lead the NFL in sacks. Got to use that to your advantage. You got to bring it, and then may make poor decisions.
Well, Harry, we'll find out. They're still paying, I think, Brock Osweiler and Russell Wilson. So we could maybe, I don't know, again, if they could bring them back. Real quick, just for a cool, speaking of Ben Fox from Yahoo, a fun fact from him. This is the biggest home underdog any number one seed has been in a conference title game since 1970. So,
Wow.
interesting fact. All right, we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about the NFC. If Scott Gagnon's reaction and Sam Darnold, one win away from the Super Bowl. Harry, oh
Oh,
boy.
Who?
We'll talk
man.
NFC
Who?
right after the break.
Who?
All right, let's jump over to the NFC. The Seahawks completely dominated the Niners 41-6. The game was over from the opening kickoff. Rashid Shaheed took it to the house. Big duh of the week from Eddie Pinero trying to sweep the leg and tackle. I mean, what a putt. That was hilarious.
Hilarious.
Harry,
Yeah.
what I mean, come on. Would you have done an Olay or would you how would you
I'd rather do an Olay than that's sweeping the leg.
that was hilarious. At
But,
least if you're gonna kick him, do
So
an
good.
Antonio
So
Brown
good.
and just like kick him right in the gut. I don't know.
but
Super weird.
what a pickup Shaheed's been from New Orleans. I mean, who thought that was going to be anything? And he's worked out tremendously.
Oh, but let's talk about the real pickup. Don't bullshit me like that. Sam Darnold gets his first career playoff win.
Yep.
12 of 17, 124 yards, one touchdown, but he didn't have to do much. Parlay kid Kenneth Walker ran wild, got a hat trick on touchdowns, and the defense just shut down the 49ers. So moving on, Seattle Seahawks. You didn't need it, Sam Darnold exactly to
Well,
carry them.
look, and I don't like to really brag about my picks, but isn't that exactly how I called it?
Exactly.
The other day with Ben, I said Seattle would jump out to a really fast start. Darnold wouldn't have to do much. He just had to be a game manager, which he was. But you know what? That's good enough. Darnold, kudos to him. He's one win away from the Super Bowl. And if that happens, Harry's got to eat a lot of crow. He actually already does. I mean, Darnold's a winner. He's a winning quarterback in this league. Harry has called him much worse than a bum, but basically a bum.
He was, and you have to have more than one playoff win.
But
Gotta have more than one playoff win.
You buried him years ago. You buried him.
Oh, listen. I'm not done burying him. Let's see what happens.
Come on. Enough.
Let's see what happens on Sunday. Okay.
This isn't enough.
No. It's not enough because he didn't have to do anything in San Francisco 2 weeks ago. He didn't have to do anything this week.
Right.
But Darren, if he goes out and wins the game, then he's in the Super Bowl, and that's that. If he goes out and they lose
It's
this
not
game,
that
he has
sad.
three
If they
picks.
lose the Super Bowl, then you'll call him a bum still.
If they
So it's not
lose,
that.
if they lose and he has three picks, it ain't good. It ain't good. Let's
I
see.
know.
Let's get through this in the NFC Championship game. Let's see what he has. He hasn't
Oh
had to
man,
do anything. He didn't have to do anything the last two games against San Fran. Didn't have to do a thing.
Bry. I don't know, Bry.
Kenneth Walker was the star, no doubt about it.
Well, when you go up like that, you're going to pound the ball. That's what they
You're
did.
right.
That's
No, I'm
what, you know,
100% correct.
49ers defense couldn't stop him. There was no need to throw, like we said. I mean, the game was over. The game was over on the opening kickoff, and I don't know, Bry. I mean, the Seahawks. It seems like it seems like they're destined to win, but I don't know. Were there any holes that you saw that would make you nervous to
No,
pick them?
look, that defense has been lights out, right? It just seems like as the season's gone on too, right? They've even gotten more dominant, gotten better. The only thing I would say is it was weird, right? When the Rams played the Seahawks already, right? That first game, it felt like the teams that should have won that game lost their games, right? And like the Rams should have won the last game, right? But probably not the first game. I don't know. I felt like,
No,
but I
no,
will
you are
say,
right. Yeah,
but I will say, I think overall, I felt like the Rams were the better team uh, in totality in those games. I felt like that, but now I don't. Now I don't know,
well,
and I'm not. I don't know. The only thing you could say is, and I guess to Harry's point is, the Rams at least will probably put some pressure on like Darnold's gonna have to Darnold's probably going to have to show up for them, like have a
Right.
good game for them to win, right? Like I don't think this is
It's not getting shut out,
I don't
Brian.
think I don't
Gonna
think
put
this
up
is a
points.
game where he can put up 150
right.
yards
Right.
and win this game. He's going to have to go out, have two touchdowns, 200 yards
but
to
what's
win this game.
interesting
So
is, see, even though you would think if you're a Seattle fan, you don't want to see the Rams again. But Harry, Sam Darnold, that was one of his biggest games of the season. He led him from 16
Well,
back, uh, and
true,
and
but
be,
also don't forget, Joe. Don't forget the first game against the Rams, he had three or four picks.
right. It's earlier in the season. This
Yeah,
was
three or four picks
this
against
was
the
the big
so,
game to win the division that the Seahawks basically had to have to get that top
Bri-
seed. And Darnold was, yeah, he still threw two interceptions that game, but.
Brian's right though. He's going to have to. It's not going to be 175 yards passing on 20 attempts. He's going to have to do some work. He's going to have to find receivers. He's going to have to put some in, get some touchdowns together himself to get over the edge here against this Rams team. Who again, tough weather environment against Chicago. They got it done at the end. They're going to have to do it again on the road, but. Rams are going to score some points next week.
All right, well, let's talk about that game. It was probably ended up maybe being the game of the weekend. Rams beat the Bears in OT 20-17. Sean McVay, what's crazy, like they this was not the Rams, blow you out of the building. They played like an NFC North team. They ran the
Yeah.
ball. They really used tight end sets and relied on their running game and defense. And I don't know, Sean McVay deserves to strut all over that field because he outcoached Ben Johnson. And you called this one too, pretty much.
Well, it's like, it's funny. I had said, right, I'd taken the Bears in the 3.5, but I thought the Rams would win by a
Yep.
field goal. Again, kind of lucky on that because the Rams obviously could have won by 7 if that miracle play didn't happen. You got to love McVay though. He's a winner. There's something about the guy that he's one of the very best in the game. I just saw something that came across that he was the Georgia High School State Player of the Year over Calvin Johnson in 2003. So he's a tough guy. And his players, you could see they just love playing for him. I did think he was having a rough time at times with some of his play calling. I thought at times today was a little off. It wasn't McVay like a little too much chances down the field when they maybe didn't need that, when they could have just been pounding the ball. they did that classic 3rd and 2 or pitch back where the guy loses about 3 or 4 yards. There was a couple things I think he was a little off on today, but he finds a way to get it done. Let's go, McVay. Let's get that team back to the Super Bowl again. Let's go.
Yeah.
Dayton, baby.
Well, let's talk about it, probably. Obviously the
Wait a
incredible.
minute, Derek. Go,
What?
2 seconds.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Aaron's rooting for both teams. You don't
What are
even
you
know
talking about?
Arnold.
I haven't
Come
given a
on.
pick yet. I haven't given a
Here-
pick yet.
My goodness.
No, he respects both teams. What
Sounds
do you-
like he wants 49-49 overtime, I think. He wants stats all over the place.
Give him
It's
give him a
great
second.
matchup. It's
Let
a
him
great matchup.
let him bask
gonna
in the
talk.
glory
We'll talk about.
of
We'll
a
make our
coach who
picks
respects winning
another
and a
day.
Okay,
quarterback.
but all right.
Yeah.
Well, sounds
Yeah.
like you want both in the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Heck yeah.
All right, Brian. Let's talk about the end of this game.
Let's
Just
go.
an unbelievable stuff that'll play for years. Caleb Williams on a rollout that he basically dropped back to midfield like 30 yards,
Nuts.
throws it up. He had no chance. What was it? Cole Kmet caught it, I believe.
Cole Kmet, and
Yeah.
he was in for probably Loveland at that time because he had gotten hurt
Yeah.
a few plays earlier. But look, it's a phenomenal play. I mean, you're on the 14-yard line. You go back to the 40, and he's backpedaling. He's got two guys right on him, and he just to be able to throw that ball like 46 yards into that corner, kind of in
Incredible.
the end zone,
Insane.
just amazing to get anything on that throw. And it's funny because the D lineman, I think at the time, thought the game was over quickly, right? Like they're like, as soon as he threw it, they kind of were like, we did our job, and then it's like. But
It
but I
really
think
did look like it looked like Madden, Brian, when you just drop
right,
back,
you just
drop
run back, you
you're
just
looking,
keep
running
going,
around,
you
and
just
then
throw it up.
throw it up. Yeah.
Right. And it was weird because he was going backwards. It actually, I guess it ended up almost making it an easier because I think all of the D-backs, everybody on the Rams were all just out of sorts. And just the fact that he could get anything on that throw, it's almost like they didn't think he could. But just phenomenal play. But it's one of those plays that, like, it's funny. I was rooting for the Rams. I don't know. I don't know. I've wanted the Rams for whatever reason to be in. I think I wanted that Rams Seattle
No,
game.
they're
But
fun. They're
when
a great watch,
there's
yeah.
that when somebody makes a play like that and then loses the game, then you're like, crap. Because like I mean, it goes down. Like if they win that game, it goes down as one of the best plays ever in football history, right? Like, and now you lose that game, and now you're just like, well, it meant nothing in the end of at the end of the day.
Well,
You know?
I mean,
Which
you
sucks.
see with these young teams, like, does it make them take a step? Do they learn from this
Right.
and take another step next year? But or is it a Dan Campbell Lions thing where all of a sudden this is their window and they
Right.
better win
You
now?
never know.
But again, let's just before we move on from this game, talk about that call in OT. The Bears do stop the Rams. They get the ball back. They're marching, and then we see another Ben Johnson. Let's heave the ball. Caleb Williams takes a shot. It gets intercepted. You needed a field goal. I just, to me as a fan, I get it. If he saw a receiver open, sure, throw it. But I don't know. It just seemed like that was the wrong call, Harry.
No, right, Joel, you're right. Needed a field goal. That's the key phrase. Needed a field goal in that spot. I mean, the running game was going okay.
Yeah.
Find the run a little bit. They were getting 3 yards, 4 yards. Oh, you have under a little stuff underneath. All you need is that field goal. So even if you don't get a first down, you can still punt. You're still at the 45. You can pin them deep and rely on your defense to come up with something. There's no reason to try that. Just there isn't. And I don't know. I'm not going to blame Williams entirely on that because I don't know. Like don't know what Moore was actually. Tirico and Collins were not sure what DJ Moore was doing on that play. It's almost like he gave up. And I told Darren before the show, it's almost like Moore at that point. You got to play. At least you got to play defense. You got to play defense there and not allow that pass to be picked off. But boy, just go small, go short. Things are working. You've used tight ends all year, so great. I don't know. That's really kept pounding that. Get 8 yards, get a first down, and your kicker's been Santos has been fantastic all playoffs. Rely on him. to win it for you instead of trying a shot like that. Just silly.
Well, I don't know. We've seen these teams go on the road and win the Super Bowl, or at least get to the Super Bowl. We saw the Chiefs do it, and maybe the Rams are one win away. Everyone gave up on them. They lost the home field. They lost the top seed, and now they just one more win away. Very quickly, let's get to these announcers. It's become a big point of contention on our text thread. You had Romo call. He mentioned Patrick Mahomes twice. He called Josh Allen Patrick Mahomes twice on the broadcast. Not the best day for Tony Romo. But then Mike Tirico, maybe not giving his best. He had some mistakes too. Brian Dare were calling him
Really.
out.
Not
Harry,
really.
Harry comes to his time.
Well, look, there's a
Sal and Darren don't come to Romo's.
No, listen.
They don't.
Well,
Okay.
what
I don't think Romo ever said Mahomes. I think people are just making that up.
Oh, all right.
Well,
Well,
what
I
I-
heard it
what-
wrong. I could have
there
heard
was-
it wrong,
there was
possibly.
parts in that game. I mean, I'd just like to bust Harry's balls because Harry says Tirico never makes a
It was
mistake.
great in
which-
the last Bears touchdown. It was tremendous.
but again, there's parts of the game like early on in the game, he's there's a penalty. Like it's like 3rd and 10, but there was clearly a penalty. But for 20 seconds, no mention of it, nothing. There's nothing happens, and all of a sudden it's first down. Like you could actually almost hear in the crowd booing, and as if
Yeah.
Tirico didn't even know what happened there. And then there was another time Tirico saying like, "Oh, he gets the first down," and like from my eyes, I was like, he definitely did not get the first down, which he was like 2 yards short. So
Yeah.
there was like little things in that game that he was calling out that I was like, I just wanted to bust Harry's balls on.
Romo wishes he had a bad call.
So Harry, so you and do your Tirico impression on that last call. Then how was it? Like, what was so great about it?
It's so energized and
Let's
and
hear it. What would you think? It's
I don't. It would be a travesty for me to even try to attempt to do such a call of such a great announcer. It would be a travesty. So I won't.
I agree. I know.
I don't know, Jim. I don't know. And by the way, I will add this about Romo. Back to the Denver Buffalo game. I will say this, and I'll defend him on this because I still don't know, but I will defend this. When Nance asked him catch or not catch, he did say I don't know, but I'll defend Romo on that one because none of us really know.
The thing is, I feel like Harry and Tony Romo would be great friends. I really do. That's the shame of this, Derek. I really feel they'd be great
Wonderful
buds.
discussion when I talked to him about
Yeah.
PGA golf. I'm just letting you know we did.
friends don't really what he if Romo knew what Harry
Yeah.
says about him, he obviously I know because Brian and I really do know Tony.
Hey,
If-
Sal
if
said
he
Sal said
know-
he's going to send him the videotape. Sal said he's
He
gonna-
would hate Harry because Tony is very prideful. He so that's how I feel about it.
Well,
Whatever. We
better,
can move
Ron.
on.
Get better, Tony. You're
Romo's-
88 million.
Harry
Get
loves-
better. You just call him Junior?
No, I said get better, Tony. You're
Oh.
getting 18 million.
constructive criticism.
Home plays for Kansas City.
We
okay?
told him before the show his camera. We had to fix his camera, and he likes constructive criticism. He did it. Look at him.